On this episode of Travels with Bill, we're at Betula Lake in Manitoba's Whitehshell Provincial Park. We'll explore the resort, we'll see the lake, and we'll also check out that river you've heard about, see where it goes, and if there's any point taking your boat on it. That's all ahead, so stick around. The Betula Lake Resort's fairly big. In fact, there's a couple buildings to it. Just heading off the left side of the screen, that's the convenience store. And then in the center there, that's where you can buy the beer. They also have hot food and ice cream on the go. So it's quite a nice place to stop. They have hard ice cream, soft ice cream, French fries, and some chicken fingers too. They're quite amazingly good. There's some spots to sit outside there, and they also have a mini golf course. That's what we're looking at right here. That's one of the newest additions to the resort. It was put in a few years back. It's kind of challenging. It's minimalist, but it's a nice course, and the kids love it. The neat part about the course is they actually have golf passes. So if you buy a golf pass, it's fairly cheap to keep going. You get 10 rounds for just one low price instead of paying for each round separately. They have fuel here, so it's a full-service resort. Pretty much anything you need, you can find at Betula Lake. We'll take a view of the bigger picture here. See all the cabins in the back? That's one thing Betula Lake does. They have cabin rentals. Some of the cabins are pretty big. There's some different sizes here, so most are 2 bedrooms, but there's a few 3-bedroom cabins as well. You can check out their website to find out more about what's available and see how the cabins work. All the cabins, though, very close to the water. That front row, right on the beach. A couple of them are set further back, but most of the cabins you would consider lakefront cabins at Betula Lake. Now, I've stayed here a few times with the kids, and they love the place. Part of why they love it is you see how there's only that one little access road going right by the store into the whole back? So it's kind of like a closed area. There's not vehicles running around all the time, and the kids can be fairly free, so they can go play at the beach for a while, they can walk to the store by themselves, even go get ice cream. There's a big playground over there by the mini golf as well. The kids love that. This is one of their favorite places to go in the summer because they're so independent. Of course, as they get a little bigger too, they can go on some nature walks. There's some trails in the area, and there's a campground here too, so it's not just the resort. Lots of people come and stay in the Provincial campground. Well, you can see the nice big beach down there. The beach we're looking at right now is the private part of the beach. That's for the folks staying at the resort, but the beach continues on for quite a way. We'll see that here in a minute, and you can see exactly how far it goes. Lots of that beach is along the public campground, and everybody's welcome to use that part. The resort offers boat rentals. You can see some of those boats down below. Well, people always have a lot of fun here off the dock. There's some kids out here on a big floaty. Oh, they're even waving to say hi. Well, hello, kids. Some boats in there as well. You can see all the other things, too. Now, some of that's included if you're staying at the resort. You can use the kayaks and such for free. They'll give you full details on that. Now, Betula Lake has black algae in it, which sounds grosser than maybe it is, but you can see it here as we fly over the beach. See how there's sand for a bit, then it turns black? That's the algae. So if you're swimming here, it's usually a pretty good idea to bring yourself some of those swim shoes so you don't get it in your toes. There goes the public beach. You see the sand goes a little further there. It's got its swimming area. We're flying along the public beach here. Off in the distance, you can see lots of the private cabins. There's a pile of them at this lake because it's a very, very popular spot. Now, the campground here is fairly demanded. It's not that big. About half of it's seasonal. The other half are overnight spots. You certainly want to book ahead and not just assume you're going to find a spot. But most summers, they have some flex spots open that are booked a little closer to when you arrive. There is a campground information board here. If there happens to be something empty, it'll be listed on it so you can know you could pop in for the night. I would always book ahead because I certainly don't want to drive this far and then find out, oh, well, there's really no place to stay here, is there? We'll take a little flight right over the campsites. Now, I know if you're from closer to Winnipeg, you're not used to seeing all the trees, but this is a well-treed campground, so it feels very private throughout there. This is the seasonal part. You can kind of tell they're set up a little better here, and then we're flying now into the overnight camping. That's more the RVs and the trailers that have been brought in just for a couple days. There's a group use area here. There's a fish filleting shack here, and people do catch fish off the dock. In fact, every year I've been here, the kids usually catch 2 or 3 off the dock. On the boat's a little easier, but if you don't have the boat, dock fishing can be done. Here's another look at the resort. Some trivia for you. The building right in the center of the screen is the older part of the resort. That was a convenience store and the home for the people that ran the place. Well, they built the new 2-story one. Their house is upstairs now, so the back of the convenience store is now one of the cabins you can rent. It's very spacious and very nice, so worth checking it out. Bit of a view of the lake. See the island over in the distance? It maybe isn't a true island. You can't go all the way around it, but it certainly is called the island, and lots of people will actually take a kayak, go all the way out there, and then come on back. Well, speaking of, there's a couple of my guys out proving they can get to the island. They're just about to start back to shore now. They certainly had a great time making sure they could get all the way out there and then all the way back. You can see them from shore. It's not that far, so you can make sure they don't get in too much trouble. Certainly an excellent place to come in the summer. Now, you could stop in and use that public beach, I suppose, even without staying here. For the most part, though, it's for campers. Some neat stuff out in the back, including this. It's the river. Now, if you go down the lake, you find this. Would people go there with a boat? Absolutely. It's one of the best parts of the lake where you're boating because it's so cool to go around all the curves. You have to be a little bit careful when you go in because it's a touch shallow. At the far end of it, well, it kind of ends with a waterfall, and you can't take your boat past that, although some people would actually walk in there a little bit. Here's what it looks like, and this is the end of where you go with your boat. It's kind of neat, though. You see the water trickling down. I've actually caught a fish just past here, docked the boat, then walked up, did a little fishing. It worked out pretty well. In the Whitehshell Park, sometimes you get lucky and you see a little bit of wildlife too. Now, certainly you could see a bear, jumpers are pretty common, but something you see here you might not think of is turtles. Now, the little guys tend to be pretty fast, so if you see one, you better be ready to take a picture or at least look, because they look like they're going to be so slow. Well, here it is, sitting over on the rock, but look what's going to happen. He'll jump in the water here and gone. Turns out turtles go faster than you think. One of my favorite parts of the river is actually boating on it. This is a shot from behind our boat as we went down it because the waves are the cool part. They make the grass wiggle. You'll see as we go around the curves here. If you're into boating, this is the kind of thing that makes you think, oh, I'm so glad I have a boat today. Because isn't it so cool? The water here is fairly brown. Now, it's lignin in the water. It's not dirt. It's just because of all the pine trees and such that are fallen into the waterway. So it's not a big deal. The water in the cabins is the same brown water. You're not supposed to drink it. You certainly bring some clean water with, but it works for bathing and showering and things like that. The river is certainly part of something you should check out when you're at Betula Lake. Have you subscribed to Travels with Bill yet? We'd love to have you as a subscriber, and you'll know when we release new videos. We have a whole series on the Whitehshell, so if you're thinking of coming here, check out the other videos in the set and see all the neat places you can go. Know someplace else we should visit? Drop a comment, tell us where you think Travels with Bill should go next. Farewell for now from the Betula Lake area in the Whitehshell Provincial Park in Manitoba.